You are listening to Primordial Harmony, a special interlude episode taking place between 74 and 75. I'm joined by the lovely Kitties, who is playing. Why don't you give us an introduction of your character?
I'll be playing Renn Mooncaller, Drum Cow. She is a Goliath barbarian who is currently seeking out her brother, who is a marshal in Fourth Stride. She has gotten this feeling down deep in her bones that she needs to be with him right now, as he may be in danger.
All right. Let me switch the music here. Renn stands, looking southward from the Mastrig Mountains. The wind blows through her black hair, exposing the white fiber from the cloud beast she braided to her hair. She's going to visit her brother, but something in the wind tells her that there is great unrest in the lands below. Something is stirring, something dark and unnatural.
At this time, the wind is telling her that she is needed, necessary. The fates want her to be there with Gorbash. She feels her feet move forward, showing her way to the city. She can hear them speaking to her, the melodies in her head, telling her what lies ahead will be a trial like no other in her life. She feels her resolve as she begins moving more quickly, being encouraged by the melodic chants in her head.
Renn travels down the mountains, placing herself on what side of the river?
She is on the west side of the river. She wants to stay away from those hills over there. There's these big beasts that people ride. And maybe they're not dangerous, but she is not feeling like she needs to battle right now. Because if she battles, then she will be slower to her brother. And Gorbash is in a lot of danger right now. She could just feel it right down deep into her bones.
Travels down the first part of the Tudera River. And she passes a couple of days pass as she travels overland. The river at her side, the plains before her. She makes it down to where the river starts to curve and a road appears beneath her feet. And she knows from her tribe that this road leads to a large settlement, the very same one that Gorbash found himself going towards. As she wanders down the road, as the woods grow closer and the space between the river and the woods thins, she gets to a point where she notices something strange. A tree with purple bark and purple leaves.
She thinks to herself, this is a magnificent tree. An absolutely magnificent tree. And if she remembers when she comes back, she plans to cut down this tree and make it into her house. It is amazing. She makes a mental note in her head that this big purple tree, definitely wonderful.
After making that note, she continues on, and
Does she notice the fight that had been there?
she
Like
notices.
the
She does notice blood, dried blood on the ground. She also notices. Actually, let me change the music to more appropriate. She notices that there's dried blood on the ground. She notices there's lots of foot traffic that seem to just appear where the tree starts. Like, foot traffic coming toward the tree from the direction she's going, and then when she follows it, going into the woods, it appears that there's a large group of people that just kind of force their way through the growth. That the brush has been just pushed aside, broken.
She thinks to herself, I bet this was a wonderful battle. I could have really kicked some butts in these battles. She kind of thinks to herself, is she going to go into the woods to see if she can kind of catch up with the battle? But, something tells me that she can sense just from her tribal upbringing that the footprints are probably a day old and that she's probably missed out on the fun.
Definitely over a day old. The blood is just shy of a day old as well.
Yeah, it doesn't have that normal smell that blood has. It just smells old. You know how old blood smells? You can
Rusty.
tell the difference. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have that coppery smell that fresh blood has.
So she continues toward Forstrad, yes?
Yes, she gets a little distracted, but then she realizes that she's got a goal and she's got to move forward.
So as she continues forward, she sees the spires. These spires made of various types of rock, granite, limestone, that surround, or rather are interspersed in this clearly cultivated land that surrounds this city that is on two hills. And looking at it, well, she hasn't really been to a city before, has she?
Well, that's not exactly true. She's been to towns, so she knows what a town looks like, right? Because sometimes they have to go down and trade for things with the humans and the other peoples so that they can live in the hills the way they do. They are pretty much self-sustaining, but sometimes you have to have other people involved.
So she knows that there's likely to be people going about, even at this time of day. It's starting to draw into evening now.
It seems really weird to her that she has not seen a cart or people traveling on this road that looks like it's pretty well traveled.
Very well traveled. It's late afternoon at this point in this day after the solstice. The sun is like perfectly 45 degrees off the horizon, and the shadows of the spires are pointing eastward as the sun goes down to set. And as she gets a little closer to one of them, just because of how the road goes, she hears a
And she knows that noise because the gnolls, they are a pain in the booty. Like they get into the sheep all the time. So she's pretty excited to kill one or five of them because she could do a lot at the same time. She is a mighty, mighty warrior.
And indeed, she sees some movement in one of the shadows, and and it starts coming toward her. And I want you to roll initiative. And then I will change the music and also roll initiative.
Why, hello, stupid Noel. What are you doing?
Alright. Almost there. Shift. I'm putting the thing to GM so that they don't see it either. Initiatives. Yeah. Yeah. Boo. Sending, please. Alrighty, everybody roll poopy initiative. That's okay. Alright, so this one, they all seem to start rushing at her. By the way, okay, you did roll with advantage, so your initiative's 11, not that it matters in this case. We'll just keep that there. This guy just runs for Renn, and the speed at which he runs is unnatural to her. And he just rushes in and bites her with a 15.
Aw, that meets her.
Alright.
So she laughs as he bites at her.
Dealing 4 piercing. And this one also rushes around and gets the flank on her. And just lunges for her back. For 16 to hit. Dealing 5 piercing. Or actually, no, 3 piercing. It is now Renn's turn.
So, still learning her, but what she's going to do is as soon as she sees them rushing at her, she pulls her great axe off her back, and she swings at this one in front of her, and she says, "I am sorry that you are going to die." And, well, before she does that, she's going to rage. And she screams, "I am sorry, you're going to have to die."
Alrighty. This one?
That one right in front of her.
Rolled that 2 hits. That's a hit. And that's a hit. Alright. I'm pretty sure, yeah. You cut it down in 2 swings.
I warned you.
This one rushes over and kind of does this weird loop-de-loop and lunges at her with a bite. Wow, I'm not rolling anything other than like 11 and 10, so 15 to hit.
And it hits.
Or 6 piercing, but actually 3 for you.
Because I am raging mad.
This one comes down, tries to swarm you. 8 to hit.
And that misses.
And now
He is not a very good shot.
And now with all these gnolls around you, they look different. There's something keenly unnatural about them, as she has to turn around to try to deflect the blows from this one who just goes very aggressively, starts snapping at her. Surprising her with an 18, dealing 6 piercing. And then the other 2 are 9 and 7.
Okay, those other 2 miss, but the one gets her, and you said how much?
6.
So she is so excited that she is in a battle, because it's been a couple days since she's killed something. She turns around and howls like a wolf. She is so excited, and she is going to hit this guy right here,
Yeah.
who has bit her twice now. He must die.
That's a hit. For 15 slashing.
And when he does not fall down, he must be hit again.
That's a hit. That 24. Oh yeah, and he is cleft in twain, crumpling into a bloody mess.
You two stupid dogs know you're gonna die, right? You should run.
Both of them pay no heed and begin to snap, snap, snap at her. So this is going to be a grand total of 6 bite attacks. Each with +2. 1, 2, 3. 17 and 22 hit.
Absolutely.
10 misses. 3 piercing and 4 piercing. Then the other one seizes its opportunity. 1, 2, 3. A 15 because of the flanking. 20 and 21.
All 3.
Chipping her for 5, 4, and 5, so a grand total of 6 for you. I did that quick math for you. And it's now her turn.
She is going to hit this guy right here, who was really bitten her hard.
Yeah, he did. That's a hit. That 21. With that 19 damage. And he's now teetering, but still snapping his jaws.
I am sorry, I'm going to squish your head right now.
That hits.
And she brings that axe down so hard that it just brains him.
It definitely brains him.
And can she use her momentum strike to, when she's done smashing this guy, just swing it backwards and hit the guy?
She can. Wham! That's a hit. Knocking him for, what is that in total? 12 damage. And then he needs to make that strength save. Oh, he rolls a 4, so he stammers back 10 feet. And then he's just... And he just smacks his own head. And then rushes back at her, snapping his nasty jaws. Bite, bite, bite. Ooh. One's a crit, but the other 2 miss. For 10 piercing total. Which goes down to 5 for you. And now it's your turn.
Okay. So this guy is, again, he must die. So what she's going to do is she's going to bring her axe in this great circle. So the axe is coming down on his head.
Oh, that hits.
And it hit. And then it just swings around, and here comes the momentum strike in the back.
She finds that as she circles around, he's already down.
Which is good, because that wasn't going to hit anyways.
Alright.
And she kicks him and she says, "You guys hurt me." Now I got blood all over my clothes. I'm going to see my brother.
So as you get closer to the city, you find that indeed there is null corpses all over the place, and amongst them you find the corpses of people.
Oh, this is not good
Wrong map.
at all.
That one.
Is she at the gates yet?
Yeah, she's at the gates. It doesn't take her much more time to get there.
Is there a door on this tower here?
Hold on a second. Let me actually bring your token to where you are. There is a portcullis, which is closed, actually. And you see... What do you see? You don't see that. What this actually looks like is... the streets are eerily empty. So there's a portcullis here, and it's kind of sealed off unless you want to like take a dip in the river.
She really doesn't want to swim. So she knocks really hard on the portcullis with the end of her axe because she don't want her hit.
Yes.
She's got to hug her brother so freaking hard. So she bangs on the door and she says, "Hello, stupid guard people. You're not guarding the streets. This looks really bad."
How much time is she willing to wait for?
She doesn't have a lot of patience. She's pretty impatient. She's really young and impatient. And so she waits for, one knock, maybe 30 seconds, and then she knocks again. And then she decides she's going to try to break down the door.
Oh my god.
Because she really wants in, and there is nobody around. And she was just attacked by a group of gnolls, so things are not looking so great.
Okay, so as you start banging on this door, you bend the bars a little bit, and you hear the sound of armor plate rattling, and you hear, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!"
She says, "No worries, no worries. I am Gorbash's sister. Open the door."
So there's a group of these men, all of them in tabards that have the symbol for the Fourth Stride Militia, and breastplate. They carry swords, and one of them, before you say that you're looking for Gorbash, one of them makes a comment like, "I thought there was more gnolls," and he wipes his brow. And one of them looks concerned, and they say, "Did you say Gorbash's sister?"
Can you not see that I look exactly like him? Yes, I am Gorbash's sister. I am Renn.
The portcullis...
Go ask him, he'll tell you.
The portcullis starts to open. Go ahead and come on in. Sorry, we've been having some troubles lately, so we've kept some of the portcullises closed for the time being.
You make obvious statements. I just killed 100 gnolls out there. There were 5 or 6 of them. I had to kill...
Oh, when you say 100, they pale.
Okay. Maybe not 100, but there were 5 of them, and I squished them, so you don't have to worry, little guy.
Okay, well, come with us.
Did you see there were a massive battle out there on the road?
Well, there's been a bit of those in here as well.
Oh, there's fun here.
Hold on a tick.
It's okay. I am here now, and I will protect you from whatever it is that scares you.
Those aren't actually here. Okay. And neither is this one.
Renn's confidence is really just unbelievable. She really thinks highly of her.
So they lead you around the street, and you can look up the hill, and you can see that there's blood in places. A few gnoll corpses strewn about here and there, and you can see that there's some buildings that are destroyed, and they say, "We'll take you to the Citadel. That's where you'll." They look kind of nervous. That's where you'll find him.
Oh, good. Gorbash, he's a very brave man. And so I am very surprised he's not at the door beating up the gnolls. Because, nobles are nothing.
The militiamen give each other worried looks. And eventually, yes, they lead you up this hill and to this large building. And raise the gate! And the gate is raised just enough to let you and them in. And you almost have to duck your head, but they get that extra couple of feet up. And the one who looks obviously the leader of this group says, "Can you get Colonel Blaze? We have a family of..." And he leans up, "Grobash." And the man eyes kind of widen. He looks at you and then he says, "Oh, sure, I'll go get him right now."
I don't know why you don't just get Gorbash. He will be fine. He's gonna be so happy to see me. I have grown like 2 feet since the last time I saw him.
They share worried looks but say nothing. And some
We're
time...
not very brave men.
Some time passes by.
And she's really, really impatient. And so she's like, maybe I should just go find Gorbash. He's going to be so happy to see me. You do not have to guard me. I am very well protected. I can take care of myself.
Well, that's not really the reason. It's just that it's not quite appropriate for us to, And they all nervously look at each other. And then,
You are keeping secrets, and I do not like the secrets.
Another man runs up and says, "Right this way. We'll take you to him."
You guys take so long for everything.
And they lead you into the building, and there is a tall human man, tall for a human, with stark red hair, with a few grays in it. And he says, "Renn?"
Red-haired man?
I am Colonel Blaze.
Well, you know me, and now I know you. Where is Gorbash?
Come with me.
This is getting tired.
He says. And he leads you to a room off to the side of this big foyer.
If somebody hurt Gorbash, I am going to be very angry, and I cannot promise I will not hurt people.
He says, He puts his hand on your shoulder and he looks up at you. And he says, "I'm sorry to tell you that your brother has passed away."
What are you talking about, you stupid redhead man? Look, is it Colonel Blaze? He is not dead. Gorbash is toughest man I know. So just take me to his body. I'm sure he is just playing possum.
He leads you into a room, and there's several clearly dead people. This seems to be a makeshift morgue of sorts. And he says, as he enters this room, he calls out toward another man who's there. He says, "Private Laz, can you point us to Grobash?" And the man sighs and says, "Yes, right over here." And he...
This is not a funny joke.
This isn't the joke.
Somebody's gonna have to be definitely hurt if you guys keep pretending.
This isn't a joke, ma'am. I'm sorry. And the private lifts the shroud, and you see Grobash with a pained look on his face and a clear knife wound that has sliced his neck.
Renn falls to her knees and says, "Who did this to my brother?"
We don't know.
What do you mean you do not know?
Colonel Blaze just kind of looks pained, the kind of like compassionate pain, and he says, "What we know is, one of our privates, as this whole Knoll invasion began, he found him and his 2 trusted captains in a shack on the outskirts.
By himself.
With 2 of his trusted captains. Oh, no, he had... Oh, no, he was with his patrol. They can corroborate that he found them. And if you looked at the man, you would not believe for a second that he would be able to take down Marshal Grobash." He gets a smile on his face because he also sort of obviously recognizes Grobash's strength. You can see in his eyes that he had a lot of affection for him, too.
You can see the tears like building up in her eyes, but she just will not let them fall. And she says, "I will see this man who found my brother, and he will tell me to my face that he found him like this, and he did not do this."
We can retrieve him and his patrol easily, if that would make you feel better. However...
Do not pander with me. I am grieving. This is the greatest Goliath that ever lived. He protected us, and he taught me to be a good person, and I will hurt and kill whoever did these to him. And tears start running down her face, but she wipes them away angrily because she doesn't want to show weakness.
The private walks up, and he's got a box. And he says, "These are some of his personal effects. We haven't had a chance to really investigate, but if you would like to have a look through them yourself, it's the least we can do at the time."
There must be a great burial for this man. For he left our tribe to take care of you, and you let him die.
Blaze looks... there's a shame passes over his face. And he says, we'll retrieve him. Or, sorry, he says, he actually walks out of the room, and he calls out, says, "You there, Private. You can find Brenlin and his patrol. Have them come to our makeshift morgue here." And he looks back and he says, "This was an office. Quickly." And you hear, "Yes, sir." And you have this box of effects in front of you.
She's still on her knees, and she kind of sits back on her ankles, and she holds this box. And she's just in shock. She can't move. She feels like she can't breathe. And she slowly opens the box to see what they consider to be his valuable thing.
Inside, there is the canine tooth on the leather thong that she gave him, and a notebook, a small pocket notebook.
And she seems like she's talking, but it's not to anybody. And she says, "This was the first wolf I ever killed. I kept this with me for many years. And when Gorbash left, I gave this to him to wear, to keep him safe. But I am not powerful enough to keep him from dying."
You can feel the presence of the private behind you. And you kind of get the sense that he might be, unsure what to do. But he is there, and he doesn't say anything. And you notice that written on the cover of this notebook is the rune. So, for context, the Goliath language is written in Dwarvish because it's giant, but it's its own sort of dialect and
has no written form.
well, yeah, giant has a written form, and you can read it, but the dialect that comes from it for Goliath is wholly different. And you recognize that it's in a sort of shorthand.
She cracks it open.
So looking through it, leafing through it, you find that he has lots of just connections. How the fuck are you in here? Get out of here.
Oh, whoops.
You're good. Anyway, I'm gonna try to make this quick because now we're getting there. So in this notebook, there's a lot of notes. Like it looks like this is how Robash put down his thoughts about events that he was in charge of, occurrences and investigations that he was a part of. And you leave to the end for a clue, I would think. And there's a part in it that talks about militiamen and scheduling and shifts and observations from who must be his two favorite captains. Such as some men still have elemental rosin, with dates between a few days ago to only a couple days ago. Observations of a few men are going up the southern wooded hill. Upon pursuing, they claim they just got off the route a bit. And then he writes a phrase that is sort of common in Goliath speech, a truth lie, which is just another way of saying plausible deniability. And there is this sort of network with a name near the center of it that is clearly not common. It's written in a weird way. It's sort of it's not a name as much as it is a description of a white dragon man.
Okay. She slams this closed, realizing that this might have a hint of who had done this to her brother. And she doesn't know if she can trust any of these people in here because Gorbash is laying on... he's laying dead, and she doesn't know who to trust. So she slams the book shut, she shoves it in this box, and she turns to the private behind her and she says, "Who are the people who are leading this fight right now? Because those are the people that I need to talk to. Because obviously you people sitting up in this building are doing nothing."
He kind of furrows his brow and he says, "As far as I know, we're starting to get near the end here."
You want to fight with me right now?
No.
Who are the people who lead this that do not sit in buildings all day?
He says, "I'm not sure you understand. You're in the militia citadel. That we are the ones who lead the fight. We protect the town."
Seems like you're doing a really good job.
He shakes his head, a little flabbergasted, and he says, "Listen, we do our best here. This attack came..."
I do not want to hear excuses. I want to talk to, I don't know, whoever saved this.
Well, if you don't want to talk to us, even though we had a big hand in things, considering our role here, you can go to the Wayshield headquarters.
Point the way.
Says, I'll get back on the North Bank Road and go over the bridge on Market Avenue and follow it until you see a sign with a squiggle and 3 shields in front of it. It's up on near the top of the southern hill.
That's where I head. And no, wait, you know what? I have to wait for stupid private who found my brother. I do not want to sit in front of my brother's dead body. Where do I go?
You can wait outside if you'd like.
Oh, I guess that's where I'll go then.
So as you leave, you see a group of militiamen, a sort of determined but bright-eyed looking young man in front of them, who looks a little bit more awake than the rest of them. And he looks up at you and looks intimidated, and he says, you must be Grobash's sister.
And you are the man who makes the most obvious comments. Who are you?
He says, I'm Brenlin Shorewatcher.
You are man who found my brother dead.
Yes, and his, hold on, Mike needs a hot second.
You better hurry, Delia.
And his
Awesome.
yeah, I know. And his corporals, Rothas Adino and Ustak Daras as well, yes. And, he looks back and he says, we happened upon them as we were, when the Null invasion broke out, and we tried to secure the outside and get people into the city safe. We found them.
You would think you would have a plan for this. This is big city. Even my little village has a plan and a signal to tell people danger is coming.
We normally do.
Normally? What happened on the abnormal day?
And he kind of looks around and he says, listen, something happened to a group of us and we're not sure what. And he says, they all kind of look shamed, and they say, about a fourth of us deserted. Just up and left.
What shame they bring to your wonderful city. In my village, when somebody shames, we get rid of them. You should definitely get rid of those guys.
Well, unfortunately, it seems that they've gotten rid of themselves. Anyway, that's how we found them. The cabin was
Move down,
cold.
move down.
Get out of here, Miles. We're almost done. I put him in AFK for some reason. There we go. Okay. So Brenlin has nothing more to tell you. I think we should...
Listen, miss, it's private, Renlin. You tell me who the bravest warriors are in this city, because I am going to have some people help me. We are going to kill whoever hurt my brother. He meant the world to me.
He says, we're all brave here, but if you're looking for powerful people, he probably wants to go to the Wayshield headquarters. Gordon seems to attract very powerful people.
I am appreciative that you made sure my brother's body got to a good space and not hurt.
Couldn't just leave him there.
I will avenge his death, and I will do it with extreme prejudice.
And so, Renn heads to the Wayshield headquarters.